Okay, back again with another stream of Ever 17 out of Infinity. Let's see. Let's do a recap on what the last episode was. Just making sure my audio and sound are okay. Hope they are. Okay. So, in the last episode, Yu grapples with finding out everything she knows is a lie. Tiefblau ravaged the world of the past, and the disease was eradicated 10 years later, and this was 16 years before Yu was born. She saw her mother's face the other day, but records say that she died 15 years ago. Dun dun dun. Also, just a reminder, we're playing as Kid, and we're going on Yu's route. So, on this route, the kid randomly broke his arm and asks, at one point he asked Yu if she's like actually 33 years old and traveled through time. It's been very interesting. Yu says maybe it's the kid who traveled and that they think about their life reading detector, how it constantly changes. Anyway, let's see. Takeshi made a special sandwich, which, if you've been following the previous episodes, he made it with the same ingredients that Coco made, even though in this game, there is no Coco. So, wonder what that's all about. The kid starts hearing Coco's voice talking about carving marks into a stone statue, which we've seen in previous episodes. And then the kid hears a mysterious voice singing, and was sure that he heard the song in the past before, but can't remember where. And then he thinks it's Coco and brings her to everybody, but then it turns out when he looks behind him, it's Sarah. And she was the one who says that she was singing. Interesting. Let's see. Kid had a dream and woke up in a secret lab underneath Lemu, which we've seen before. It's weird that he's having these dreams now. And then, at one point, the best part, the final part that happened is, and I lost my shit watching it, Yu kissed the kid, but she did so using an impeccably small mouth. I don't know how. I'm still thinking about it, and it is amazing to think of such a tiny mouth. Anyway, that's where we are, and so, alright, let me just jump back in. Alright, continue. Okay. Alright. So now. Sora called us all into the conference room, and this is where we're catching up on here. Okay.
There's an important reason why I've called all of you here. There's something I wanted to inform you about as soon as possible. I know it's difficult, but it is important for you to accurately realize the full gravity of this situation. So please don't panic, settle down, and listen carefully.
Sora paused for a second. Sora looked at all 5 of us in turn, Yu, Tsugumi, Sarah, Takeshi, and me. The conference room was silent, but I could hear the sound of water coming faintly from somewhere. Was it water lapping in the hallways? Moments later, I couldn't hear it anymore. As if Sora was waiting for that cue, she slowly opened her mouth.
The situation is not good.
This sounds very familiar, so I'm going to see if I can maybe skip ahead. I can! Yay! We're realizing that there's a time limit on what we have. Anyway. That was it.
Now, let this meeting end. Until there is new information available, please do what you will. However, if you do discover anything, please inform me immediately via Lemon.
Excuse me, Sora?
Ah, yes, Komachi-san. What is on your mind?
Tsugumi suddenly stood in front of Sora. Her smile seemed just a little forced. There's something I want to talk with you about alone.
In private?
Yes, please. Actually, I have a proposal, an idea on how to escape from here. Alright, I think I recognize this. I think she's going to go to another room and argue with Sora. Let me see if I can skip. Yay, I can skip. Whee! Okay. Those of us left stared at the hologram in the conference room and settled down to plotting a strategy to save ourselves. The four of us, you, Sarah, Takeshi, and I, gathered around the table. We reviewed the facts as we knew them. I wonder if I can skip ahead. I can't. Okay, maybe the facts are different this time. Okay. We reviewed the facts as we knew them. There are 2 ways to get to the surface from Lemu. 1. Use the elevator in the central area. 2. Climb one of the complex's 12 sets of emergency stairs. The central area floor was completely flooded. If we could get to the elevator, we couldn't be certain that it would move. We still didn't know the cause of that either. The emergency stairs were also filled with water from the second floor, so they were impassable. There was only one method that could be used to remove the floodwater. That was to use the high-pressure fan to pump the complex full of high-pressure gases and purge it of seawater. But at that moment, we weren't able to operate the fan from inside Lemu. And like the elevators, we still had no idea why. If we couldn't start from the inside, then it could be started from the outside, but all the communication channels to the outside had been cut off. And swimming our way to freedom was out of the question. The water pressure on the other problems made that suicidal. And if we couldn't find a way to get out on our own, then we'd have to rely on rescue efforts from the outside. But that was something we couldn't depend on. We hadn't been able to communicate with the outside for 5 days since we'd been trapped, and there are no signs of help coming this way. So we knew that we had to exclude a miracle rescue from our options. No, from the beginning. We had reconciled ourselves with the facts of our situation long before. We figured that since there had been no contact or rescue, not even the slightest sign, maybe there was a reason people couldn't get near Lemu. Or maybe someone had intentionally sealed us in. So we came up with 3 steps that we should focus on. A. Restoring communications with the outside. But that was only relevant if the people on the outside were willing to cooperate. B. Find another way to drain the water from the complex other than the high-pressure fan. But according to Sora, there was no other way to do that. C. Find an escape route other than the elevator or emergency stairs, like maybe a submarine. But according to Sora's information, there were no longer any left at Lemu. She had said that they had all been used during the evacuation on May 1st. Final conclusion, current prognosis for escape? Hopeless. But there was one thing. Tsugumi had said that there was an escape method that only she knew about. If it did in fact exist, and there was a way that all 6 of us could escape, then that would be our only hope. Right. There's really nothing we can do. We'll just have to wait for a report from Tsugumi and Sora. Yeah, but Tsugumi's not even come back yet. This is kind of taking a long time. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe. Hey, should I go see how things are going? Huh? Yeah, you go do that. You're okay alone? Yeah, fine, I'll just go take a peek. With that, I left the conference room. I headed down the corridor to the control room. It is now 11:27 a.m. With the situation the way it was, we weren't going to find a solution no matter how much we were worried about it. That was clear. So, we would have to take control of the situation, but how could we do that? We couldn't just rely on thinking, we needed to act. The key to the first step down that path was in the hands of Tsugumi and Sora. That's what I believed. I arrived at the front of the control room. I pushed the intercom buzzer, but there was no answer. This sounds very familiar. I'm just going to see if I can skip. Not yet. Maybe soon, though. My only choice was to open the door. When I did, I heard Tsugumi shouting, "Don't make me keep repeating the same thing." Tsugumi and Sora were in the middle of an argument so intense that it seemed they might start going at it hand to hand. Neither one would budge, they just glared at one another. It looked as though as they'd been fighting for several minutes, the room was filled with tension. The two glanced at me for only an instant before launching back into their argument.
Like I've been telling you, that place just does not exist.
I think this is skippable. Oh, it's not. It must be different. This sounds so familiar, though. Sora, please don't make me any angrier. You might be able to trick the others, but lies won't work on me.
It's not a lie!
You're still sticking to that line? It was a bad scene. Something about the whole thing screamed danger. It wouldn't do to let the two of go at it like that. I retraced my steps, hurrying to the conference room. Everyone, we've got trouble! Without waiting for the door to completely open, I bounded into the room. Huh? That was quick. Sounds like something big is going down. Trouble? What kind of trouble? Come on, we gotta do something and go stop it! I told them that as I struggled to get my breath back. Stop what? Hey, explain what's going on. What happened? The central control room! Sora and Tsugumi! I found them fighting! I just couldn't watch, so I... This is bad news. At a time like this? Come on. You can do it. Come on. I think my keyboard is not having a good time. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Having a bad time. I wonder why it's not letting me do anything. Oh, there we go. Let's go! We have to stop them! I think my keyboard is dead. Can I progress? Uh-oh. I need my charger. Alright, I'll be right back.